Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. We're here with some more NFL DFS picks and lineup advice. Single game showdown slate, Monday Night Football, Baltimore Ravens, New Orleans Saints. Happy Monday. Welcome. I'm Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy. Single game $1 million winner. And as we normally do in these videos, we talk about the injuries that impact the DFS slate, low risk and high risk lineup construction tips, general showdown strategies, everything you need to dominate this game. Before we get started, though, I do ask that you are subscribed to the channel. If you're new, welcome. If you're not subscribed and you've been watching these videos, just go ahead and subscribe. If you do like them, there's a better chance. In fact, there's a pretty much 100% chance that if you subscribed, YouTube will show these videos to you in the future. Because we're doing multiple videos per day with NBA back, there's a conflict in the YouTube algorithm. So sometimes some videos might not be pushed to you even if you like them. So subscribing is the best way to fix that problem. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video. That lets us know to continue to do these videos. Any questions, I will monitor the YouTube channel throughout the day. Leave a comment below or a question. Happy to answer them. If you want in-depth answers, you want to chat with us, you want to sweat the games with us, join our Discord server, occupyfantasy.com/Discord. That link is in the description below. So all that aside, let's get into it. Now, the first thing you'll see when you open up the lineup page on either FanDuel or DraftKings is just this sea of red of injuries, just an outrageous number of injuries that impact the slate. As a result, we have some clear mispricings on some guys. Some of that's due to the injuries. Some of that is due to FanDuel and DraftKings' lack of care, for a better word, to fix the pricing. So let's see what we got here. So Mark Andrews has already been ruled out. If you remember last week on the Thursday Night Showdown slate, injured his shoulder, left the game. Isaiah Likely, the rookie who crushed in the preseason, came in, crushed immediately against the Buccaneers. So Andrews is out. Isaiah Likely will draw the start as the pass-catching tight end, and he's super cheap. If we go to the flex spot, he is 5,800. Now, just imagine if Andrews was 5,800, or a slightly lesser version of Andrews was 5,800 for fantasy football purposes. So imagine how popular he will be. If you look over on FanDuel, yeah, we have to scroll a little bit because Isaiah Likely is just 7,500 on FanDuel. Going to be extremely popular for good reason. He projects very well. Going to be a very popular play. Just be mindful of the contest you're playing, and if you use him, what you need to do with the rest of your lineup, either to get different or to raise your floor ceiling. All right, let's go back over to DraftKings. Let's stay with the Ravens for a second. Gus Edwards injured his hamstring also in that Thursday game. He left. He's officially doubtful, probably not going to play. In fact, we don't think he's going to play at all. So with him out, we have Kenyon Drake is going to be the lead back. Find Kenyon Drake. Where is he? There he is, right next to Gus Edwards at 7,200. Justice Hill will also mix in and get a good amount of work, and he's extremely cheap at 2,200. So two guys in a rush-heavy attack that are going to get a lot of work, both relatively underpriced, especially Hill. Let's keep that in mind. All right, Rashad Bateman. It was announced that he would have season-ending foot surgery. He is out. He left the game last week after missing a few weeks due to injury. And in addition to Bateman, Demarcus Robinson is officially questionable, but we don't think he's going to play. Left to practice early Friday with a groin injury. Didn't practice at all on Saturday. Typically, when you see that type of practice participation, that means the guy's not playing. Soft tissue injury, leaves practice early, then doesn't practice the next day. It's pretty much a guarantee that you're not going to be ready in 2 days to play. It's if you look at historically when that routine happens, I think we can count on Demarcus Robinson not playing tonight. If he does play, we can certainly adjust, but let's assume that he's out. So with Bateman out, with Demarcus Robinson out, we have Devin Duvernay as the wide receiver 1. He is 6,800 on DraftKings. We have James Prochet, 3,800, relatively affordable. Actually led the wide receivers in routes run last week in that Buccaneers game. They'll probably call up Deshaun Jackson from the practice squad. I mean, they signed him a couple of weeks ago. If they're not going to call him up here with all these injuries, who knows? But he's $200. If he's activated, you can certainly see him drawing some ownership as well. And then they have Tylan Wallace, who is also $200. And if the DFS gods were intent on making me or finding a new way for me to lose money, there's a possibility that they call up a couple receivers or one other receiver from the practice squad. Andy Isabella is a guy. He's $200. It's possible that he gets called up. They also have Benjamin Victor. So options, we'll have to monitor the 4 p.m. deadline today. However many guys they call up, it's probably indicative of Demarcus Robinson's availability. We expect them to call up at least one either way. If they call up 2, that can pretty much tell us that that D-Rob is likely out. All right, Let's go to the other side. Michael Thomas has missed a bunch of games. He's officially now in IR. He will not play again tonight. Jarvis Landry listed as questionable, limited practice all week. The vibes from the beat reporters seem to think he's at least one more week away. Let's monitor this as well. Let's also monitor the practice squad activations. Let's assume he's not playing tonight. If he does play, he's an option at 5,200. Chris Olave is still going to be the wide receiver one at 8,600. So just monitor if you're playing multiple lineups. Something to keep in mind if Jarvis is in. That means if he's out, once again, we'll see the same 3 wide receiver set of Chris Olave. We will see Marquez Callaway. We will see Traquan Smith. And those guys are a little bit underpriced, especially Traquan Smith, who might draw some ownership if Jarvis Landry is indeed out. And they'll mix in the super efficient Rashid Shaheed, who is now 5K, basically unplayable if he's going to get 1 or 2 touches a game. But if that one touch goes for 50 yards, like it almost always does, then even so, I mean, look, 5K, a ceiling of 12 to 15 points, probably not playable. But I guess crazier things have happened. All right, I think that's it. Mark Ingram is also out as the running back too. They've been giving Kamara most of the work anyways, but Dwayne Washington, Jordan Howard off the practice squad, those guys will mix in behind him if you're looking for super trashy punt plays behind Kamara to get different in the largest contest. All right, so lots of injuries, lots of things to digest. Fortunately, this makes low-risk contests easy but also hard because a lot of people can figure out the values. So low-risk contests, 50-50s, double ups, head-to-heads, just have to beat half the people to double your money. Lamar Jackson, MVP, let's get him in there, lock him in there. Kamara going to be extremely popular. Andy Dalton, yes, has had some good games, but at his price tag at 10-2, a little expensive. If you fit him in, $3,200 per player, you can make it work. But I think what the field will likely do is opt not to play Dalton in low-risk contests because now you can play Isaiah Likely at 5,800. You can play Justin Tucker, who is just 4,200. Now you have 5K left per player. You can play one of those other mispriced players plus another stud. If you play Dalton, no, you can't even play Dalton. Okay, so probably Olave plus a punt play, maybe Kenyon Drake, 2,800 left per player. Lots of options here, but I feel like this quartet is the likely start for low-risk contests on DraftKings. Now, FanDuel, somewhat similar. You're going to have to make that same decision, and the decision that the field will make is always Kamara over Andy Dalton. You could actually make it work if you play all 3. Now you have 6,250 left per player, and because likely is 7,500, you could punt the final position. This is an option, but as we've talked about in this video before, very rarely is this the preferable roster construction for low-risk contests on FanDuel. You normally have to pick 2 of the top 3. So as the field, this is the safest route. We'll remove Andy Dalton from the player pool. 10K left per player. Now you can play a kicker. You can play another wide receiver 1 or running back 1. This is the way to go. Reminder that Kenyon Drake is only 9K over here on FanDuel, which is incredibly affordable for a running back in half-point PPR scoring, who should be the lead guy. So lots of ways to play it, but the clear value is you play Lamar at captain MVP in low risk, you play Isaiah Likely, you play Kamara, and use the values to figure out the rest. So, all right, let's transition and let's talk about high-risk contests, leagues, GPP satellites, exponential payouts. You have to beat a lot of people to win a lot of money. Single entry, multi-entry, it doesn't matter. It's about the size of the contest and the payout structure. So, all right, we know Lamar and Kamara are going to capture at least 50% of the captain ownership on DraftKings, more than 80% of the MVP ownership on FanDuel. And yes, that seems high, right? And your first thought might be, let's fade those guys. However, because we have some mispricings and because we have a lot of players injured, specifically on the Baltimore side, the easiest route tonight for high-risk contests is pretty simple in my eyes, is playing Lamar or Kamara at captain and MVP. Now, if you're 150 max in, you're 20 max, I mean, even 20 max, I think you just stick with those 2 guys. 150 max in, you can mix in Olave, you can mix in Kenyon Drake, you can mix in even Isaiah Likely at captain, Duvernay maybe. But especially if you're playing small field, right, just play Jackson or Kamara at captain. And because we have so many different role changes, there are going to be some guys, there's going to be concentrated ownership like there always is, but we can play some guys that are going to go overlooked. So what do I mean by that? Mostly the Baltimore wide receiver situation, right? So Duvernay, 6,800, he'll be relatively popular. But after that, who are people going to play? James Prochet could lead the team in routes run again. He won't be that popular. Tylan Wallace, $200. Deshaun Jackson, $200. We didn't talk about Josh Oliver at $1,200, but he's an option as well to save salary. He's going to be on the field a lot as the tight end too. So lots of ways to save salary and play lower owned guys, because you can play this, like you can start with this lineup here, 5K leftover per player, and the low risk start, the low risk core, and then just get different after that. If you play Josh Oliver, 1,200, 8,800. Now people are going to play Chris Olave, right? But maybe you play Kenyon Drake and save salary. The other way is here, if you play Kenyon Drake here, 2,800 per player, that's fine. But what if Justice Hill outperforms Kenyon Drake? Very reasonable, right? We play Justice Hill at 2,200. Now we have 7,800 per player, and we could play Duvernay. Lots of ways to go here. So playing one low-owned guy as a who benefits from this Ravens injury situation is definitely the key to high-risk contest tonight. Now, the other way is because people are going to play Kamara so heavily in the flex, we saw him get the touchdown variance last game. He hasn't gotten the touchdown variance in the weeks prior to last week. So if somehow they pass more than Kamara getting the touchdowns, now we put Andy Dalton in, and we play Andy Dalton with one or two pass catchers. Traquan Smith, Marquez Callaway. Adam Troutman is back for them at tight end. He's $1,800. Juwan Johnson, obviously still an option at $4,400. So playing Dalton, who's going to be less popular, not as low owned as he was the last time he broke the slate against Arizona, but it'll be pretty low owned for a quarterback when you can play Lamar and Kamara right above him. So playing Andy Dalton, especially on FanDuel, is an incredible option. But leaving salary and playing these guys who benefit from injuries is the easy way to play high-risk contests tonight. So that's a high-level overview for the slate. Our writer, Bismo, who does a fantastic job diving deep, will go into it and look at player rankings for every contest type on FanDuel and DraftKings in our daily plug later this afternoon. He'll also give lineup construction tips for specific contests: high risk, low risk, small field, large field, contests to target, overall slate notes, more statistics that I didn't talk about today. So make sure you check that out after this video if you're interested. The link is in the description. That'll be posted by 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern. Our Occupy model is up and running with projected ownership rankings for FanDuel and DraftKings using our proprietary metrics. And our lineup builder is always up and running, and you can use it to build up to 300 lineups. See which combinations fit best together. That's what I do most of my days on Mondays and Thursdays. I'm running the builder different ways to find out which combinations fit best. I put in some rules, see which lineups pop up the best using those rules. It's an easy way then to try to figure out hand building. So that'll do it for this video. Make sure you are subscribed again to get notified when we go live, upload any new videos. If you like the video, that's the best way to get notified when we put out new content. Give us a thumbs up. Lets us know that we should continue to like it. Lets YouTube know that other people will like this content, so it helps everyone out. Any questions, comment on the video. I'll get back to you later today. If you want in-depth answers, you want to chat with staff, other members of the community, join our Discord, occupyfantasy.com/Discord. All right, Brian Jester, Occupy Fantasy, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in, and good luck in tonight's Ravens and Saints showdown slate.